Welcome to today's lesson, which is about changing temperatures. The goals of today's lesson are that you can use a number line to add positive and negative numbers, and that you can calculate temperature changes. So here's an example of the temperature in Dublin was -3 degrees at 6 a.m. If the temperature rose by 9 degrees, what was the temperature at noon? And here's how to organise your work so you can see what information you're given and what information you're looking for. You have a beginning temperature, a change in temperature, and a final temperature. And you're given two of these numbers to find the third. So the temperature started off at -3 degrees, so it's -3. It rose by 9 degrees, so that's your change. Your change here, it rose by 9 degrees, is +9 because it rose, it increased. So +9, what is your final temperature at noon? So let's look at our line, our number line. And we have the beginning temperature was -3 and the change is +9. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units to the right because it's increasing. And we arrive at 6. So the final temperature is 6 degrees. Here's another example, and we're going to again use beginning, temperature, change in temperature, and final temperature. And let's read the problem. So the lowest recorded temperature in the country on January 20th in the morning was -17 degrees Fahrenheit. It rose to a high. So it didn't say rose by, it rose to a high of 15 degrees. So that means that was the final temperature. And it rose, so it's going to be a positive change. It's going to be positive. It started at -17. There's a positive change and it ended up at 15. What is that change in temperature? So we start about here for -17 degrees, and we end up here at +15. What's the distance between these? So here's 0, and from -17 to 0 the distance is 17 degrees. It went up 17, and so that's +17, and then it went up 15 more, +15. So 17 plus 15 is 32. So the change in temperatures is 32 degrees. And another example, again, we'll have beginning, change, and final temperatures. Beginning temperature, change in temp, and final temp. So yesterday in Fairbanks, the high temperature was 9 degrees. The temperature fell by 12 degrees. So falling by that means that there was a negative change. So it fell by -12, and it began at 9 degrees. So we have +9 minus 12 equals whatever your final temperature is going to be. So we have started off at 9 here. Subtract 12, we're going to go to the left for subtraction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So from 0 to 9, of course, is 9. And then 10, 11, 12. And it's at -3 degrees. So it ended up at -3 degrees there after the temperature fell. let's have some practice with number lines here. So choose a number that's less than -3. I say less than because the narrow end of this inequality symbol is pointed towards the number you're going to choose. So -3. To the left of it are the numbers that are less than it: -4, -5, -6, and so on. And to the right of it are numbers that are greater than it. And we're looking for a number that's less. So I'm just going to pick the first number below -3. I'm going to say -4 is less than -3. And for the example on the right hand side here, we're looking for some number that's greater than -0.7. Greater than because the wide side of the inequality symbol is pointing towards the number you're going to choose. So I'm going to write -0.7, and on the right of it we'll have -0.6, -0.5, and then to the left -0.8, and so on. We're looking for a number that's greater, so it's going to be on the right hand side of -0.7, so I'll say -0.6. You could choose -0.5, you could choose any positive number, 100, and all of those are greater than -0.7. And in our final question at the bottom of the screen here, we're looking for a number which is in between -0.6 and -0.2. And I know it's in between because I'm looking at these inequality symbols, and it's going to be, the number here is going to be greater because the inequality is wider here. It's going to be greater than 0.6. So I'm going to look at the number line, which I can draw quickly here. It's -0.6, -0.5, 0. So we're looking for a number in between -0.6 and -0.2. So any of these would be good. I'm going to just choose -0.3. It's in between -0.6 and -0.2, and I'm able to look at the number line and just pick it off. I could just as easily have picked -0.4 or -0.5. So we can represent a decrease as adding a negative number, and we can represent addition with 2 arrows, and we can represent a negative addend on a number line as an arrow pointing to the left. So if we're adding, we can have an arrow going to the right, that's adding. And if we're subtracting, we will have an arrow going to the left. And adding would be an increase, and subtracting would be a decrease. So to recall today's goals, you saw how to use a number line to add positive and negative numbers, and you saw how to calculate temperature changes. And that's the end of today.